Hi all, up here in the corner, I'm Brian Russell and I'm going to be your instructor for Philosophy B7 Introduction to Logic. In this video I'm going to show you how to get to our course Canvas shell where you'll find all the content you need to complete the course, and I'm going to go over the syllabus and talk about how the course is going to roll out. So first let's talk about how you can find our course Canvas shell. First you'll go to bakersfieldcollege.edu. You'll click on Inside BC. That'll take you to a page that looks like this. You will click on a link that says My Courses. You'll scroll down to our Logic course. You'll click on it. That will take you to a page that looks something like this. And this is the page that you'll be using to get all the content in the course. It's the modules page. So if you don't get to this page immediately, if it takes you to some other page for some reason, make sure you click on this modules link. There, the content for the course will be chunked according to weeks. So you'll see the welcome module, the online orientation module, and the week 1 module. At first, you may see some other weeks as well if I've been very busy between now and the time you watch this video. So, now that we're here, let's talk about the syllabus. You already know my name and you know the course you're in, so let's talk about office hours and how you can contact me. I'll be holding office hours on Zoom on Monday and Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can click on this link. I'll also be placing a direct link to it from the welcome module. And you can click on that. That'll take you to a waiting room, and if I don't get to you immediately, it's probably because I'm with another student, so just give me some time to finish up and I'll try to get to you. My contact information. The best way to contact me is to contact me through my email, so brian.russell@bakersfieldcollege.edu. I try to respond within 2 days. If I haven't responded to you within 2 days, go ahead and send me another email and say, Brian, I asked you this question 2 days ago and you haven't gotten back to me. Could you please respond? I'll take no offense to that. Emails fall through the cracks sometimes. I'm trying really hard to get back to all my emails, but I get a ton of them. So if your email fell through, just send me another one and I'll try to get back to you within a couple days. The next thing we need to talk about is class meetings. I put this up front because this semester is weird. So this is an online scheduled class, which means I'll be holding Zoom meetings during our assigned meeting times. However, you're not required to attend any of the Zoom meetings. I know life is tough right now, and I'm not here to make it tougher. I'm just here to teach you logic and to try to make it as easy as possible and to try to fit things into your busy schedule as well as I can. I won't be taking attendance on Zoom. I will be taking attendance based on completion of assignments. So you need to complete all the assignments in the first week. If you don't, then I'll drop you from the course. If you do, then you'll stay in the course. And if you, past that point, if you don't complete assignments for 2 weeks in a row, then I'll drop you from the course. But as long as you're completing assignments, you'll have no reason to fear getting dropped from the course, regardless of whether you come to the Zoom meetings. Now, the Zoom meetings can be really helpful. What I plan to do on Mondays is I'll briefly outline all the assignments you need to complete by the end of the week. I'll briefly cover concepts and skills you'll need to learn, and I'll answer any questions you might have had on prior homework or tests or practice tests. So on Mondays, I'll be giving a little bit of a presentation. On Wednesdays, we'll be completely dedicated to answering questions you have about course content. So right when I start the video, I'll immediately open it up to anything you might have. So I would recommend, even though homework will be due at the end of the week, at the end of each week, it'll close at Sunday at 11:59 p.m. What I suggest you do is try to complete all the week's assignments by Wednesday. That way you'll have an entire class period where you can ask me about what we're doing. Another thing I'd like to do with our meetings is just give you time to do homework while I'm on the screen. So especially with our Mondays, I'm sort of teaching this like a flipped class where you watch the video lectures and then you can come and do homework or ask questions with me in front of you. That's a good way to go about it, I think. So, Zoom meetings, not necessary, but can be very helpful. So how do you get to our Zoom meetings? On the syllabus, there'll be a link that will take you to our Zoom meeting directly. I also provide this link to, if you control-click on it, you'll see this. It'll be the ICS, so it will give you a calendar. I click on that, I open it in the menu, and then I drag it over to my desktop, and that way you can add it to your school email calendar. So if you want to do that, you can open up your school email, click down here on the little calendar. You'll see a link that says Add Calendar. You'll click on that. This will let you add calendars. Oops. Sorry, not yet. You'll go down to Upload File. You can drag it over or browse. That puts that calendar up here. You select a calendar, make sure something's selected there, and then you can import it. Now, I've already done that, so I won't do it again. Instead, I'll X out of here. And once you do that, you will see, if you do that with all your classes, you'll see a list of all your Zoom meetings for the day, and you can click on that, and it will take you directly to the links you need. The reason you can do that is because I made our meetings a recurring meeting, so you can get to it that way, and it's nice to have them all neatly arranged in your email calendar. All right, there's some other Zoom instructions here. So now let's talk about the course a little bit. Course description says traditional basics of correct reasoning with an emphasis on the relationship to language, thought, and argument. Basically, what we'll be doing in this class is giving you the tools you need to think clearly about arguments and to determine when passages are arguments and when they're not arguments. That's pretty much what we'll be doing from start to finish of the course. The student learning outcomes are just fancy ways of saying that. In my next lecture, my Intro to Logic lecture, I'll explain what logic is a little more clearly and why you might want to study logic, besides the fact that it's probably required for whatever degree you're taking right now. Let's get down to some stuff that's really important right away, and that is the textbook. So you'll see there's only one text required for the class. It's Hurley's A Concise Introduction to Logic. Here I say 11th or newer edition, really 7th or newer edition. So if you can find a cheap version of the 7th edition, that's totally fine for our purposes. I'm going to show you how to find a really cheap, in fact totally free PDF online. I can't link to it because I think I would be violating copyright, but I think I can show you where to find it. So I just did this. I did a Google search, Concise Introduction to Logic, free PDF. The first link will lead you astray. It's by a different author, Craig Delancey, not our author. Our author is Hurley. So if you go down to the second link and click it, it'll take a while, but it will download an entire PDF of the 7th edition. That will have everything that you need for our course, all the reading that you need. The problem sets will be slightly different, but it won't matter for our purposes because I'm entering all the problem sets directly into Canvas, so you won't even need to look at the problem sets in the book. You can do them directly into Canvas, and you can do those while we're having our Zoom meetings if you want. That would be a great way to make sure that any of the questions that you have are being answered by me or by one of your classmates. The bookstore also sells our text at a pretty hefty price, so you can do that if you'd like. Course requirements. The formatting gets all crazy here, but we're going to have 4 exams. We're going to cover 4 chapters in Hurley's A Concise Introduction to Logic. We'll have 4 tests corresponding to each of the chapters that we cover. We're going to cover Chapter 1, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, and Chapter 3. The exams will be exclusively multiple choice for Chapters 1, 6, and 3. In Chapter 7, you'll have to type in some proofs into some text fields, but besides that, it'll be a completely multiple choice. This course is very much like a math course where you have to solve problems and you either get the answer right or you get it wrong. I'll be giving you practice tests for each of the exams. So if you do well on the practice test, you can expect that you'll do very well on the exam. If you don't do well on the practice test, you'll know what you need to work on. There will be 12 quizzes, each worth 10 points. There'll be a few multiple choice questions just to make sure you're understanding the material. If you've read the chapter with some care, the quizzes shouldn't pose any problem for you. There'll be, again, just a few multiple choice questions that cover the basics of the chapters. And if you watch my lectures, at the end I'll often tell you what the quiz questions are going to be and what the possible answers are. So you might want to write those down while you're watching my video lectures. There will be 4 homework packets, again corresponding to each of the 4 chapters. They'll each be 20 points per packet. I call them packets because when we were face-to-face, I used to have people hand homework packets in. Now that we're doing this exclusively online, you're just going to do all the homework. It'll all be due when the exam is due. So every 4 weeks in this class, we'll be having an exam. That's when all the homework for that 4 weeks will be due. Even though it's due at when the exam is due, I strongly suggest you keep up with the homework. The way you learn logic is by doing logic. You won't learn logic just from hearing me talk about logic. You'll learn a little bit, but the way you make that knowledge your own is just through repetition, getting the reps in. So you'll need to do it. This logic course is like a language course or like a math course in that if you get left behind, you might be done for the rest of the semester. So you want to make sure you're staying on top of everything. Try to get all the homework done for the week by our Wednesday class meeting is what I'd strongly advise. So those 4 packets will be combined to be 80 points. I'll be grading for completeness, not correctness. And I may fiddle with that a little bit throughout the semester, but I'll keep you posted. Grading's pretty straightforward. So, the essential elements of this course will be the exams. That's the big part of your grade, the quizzes, and the homework. That's your whole grade. There's no points for participation. I don't care how much you participate. If you know the material, you know the material. All right. Academic integrity. Don't cheat. If you cheat, I don't tolerate it. I'll probably turn you in to the dean of students, and you'll have an uncomfortable conversation with him. You'll have to write some essays and be placed on academic probation. This is at the least, and it's a real pain for you, and it's a pain for me, so please don't cheat. You won't learn logic, and it's important that you learn logic. Employers are looking for that, as I'll talk about in my next video. If you need any additional resources, here's the DSPS statement, and you can click on those links and get that information to me sooner rather than later so I can make sure I have the necessary accommodations for you. Like I said, all weekly assignments are due at Sunday at 11:59 every week. I don't reopen assignments for any reason, so make sure you're getting all your assignments in, especially make sure when we get to tests, I've highlighted them down here in our calendar, every 4 weeks, that everything for that 4 weeks has been turned in. So week 4, week 8, week 12, week 16, tests all the time. That's when everything's due. So make sure that will be a time to check to make sure that you've done all the pieces leading up to that exam, and make sure you do that exam before Sunday at 11:59. I have some additional resources here if you need them. Safe Space, Lupe, stuff like that. At the bottom, I have the course calendar. So you see that any student who has not completed the assignments drop for non-attendance. The rest of these, you'll see you have to do the week 2 module in week 2, the week 3 module in week 3, the week 4 module in week 4, which includes the practice test and the exam. So that's pretty much everything. Let's go back to the modules page now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the assignments you have to do for this week. So for this week, you have to watch this video. You have to watch the next video, the Intro to Logic, which if it's not up when you watch this, it will be up very shortly. Then you may choose to do the online orientation. If you haven't taken an online course at Bakersfield College, I strongly suggest that you do this online orientation. It will talk about online etiquette. It will show you how to turn in assignments, etc., etc. Students in the past have found it very handy. You do not need to do this, but it might be good for you to do it. The week 1 stuff is necessary. This is how I'll be taking attendance. So you'll have a quiz. You'll also have some homework for this week. You have to do those items this week. Otherwise, I'll drop you for non-attendance. And then after that, we'll see further weeks in the future. So thanks for sticking to the end of this video. Sorry for the little hiccups along the way. We'll try to iron this out as the semester goes on. I hope you know everything about how the course will roll out, where you need to go to get to our Zoom meetings, what you can expect in terms of exams, homework, and quizzes throughout the semester, and where you can find my lectures. You'll find them in links like this. I'll try to send an email at the beginning of every week letting you know what we have to do each week. That way, you need not attend the Zoom meetings if you don't want to, but again, they can be very helpful. I suggest you come and ask any questions and maybe do the homework while you're sitting in our Zoom meeting. So, thanks again for sticking with me. I'll see you next time.